Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Toad Podcast. I'm here joined with my two other co-hosts, Luis and Angie. Angie, how are you?
I'm good. I'm just chilling.
You're just chilling. Luis, you have anything to
I'm
say?
good. It's a good Friday. We're back. We're doing this. I'm the only one working from home, so I'm in a great mood.
Yeah, I feel like we have a lot to get into, so let's just jump right in, no? You want to get us started? Go ahead.
Yeah, let's just start off by saying like where we've been since we last recorded, like what we've been up to. So Renee, I like you to start us off because you've been very out there.
Yes, so since we last met, I want to say maybe about a year ago for this podcast.
Yeah.
I've just been exploring the world, working, trying to learn as much as possible. I mean, in case you haven't heard, there's a little pandemic going on. A little something called COVID-19.
Yeah, something
Just
small. I
yeah,
heard.
it kind of took the world by surprise. So that happened. There's a very easily transmittable virus going around. But even in these extreme circumstances, like the grind don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like even with the virus, you have to learn to be careful to avoid it. I mean, this is me personally. I've been out there. I've been working, but at the same time, like I know how to avoid it. Since the last time we met, made a couple moves. I feel a lot better about my personal safety moving around now, and it's been a tough time for the world, but I've been trying to make the best out of it, and just push ahead. That's what I've been up to. Angie?
So with me, a year ago, that was the last time.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we recorded
Wow.
a year
Last
ago.
May.
We were all in college together.
Wow. So let's see.
Luis was about to graduate.
And you were about to hit your senior year.
Yeah. So started with that. So yeah, I started my senior year. I took a summer class that summer, and then I was working on senior seminar once school started, and I was working on resumes and cover letters, etc. And then for winter break, I ended up going to Mexico for a whole month, so that was pretty cool. And then came back and working hard, finishing my last semester of college ever, and then like how Renee said, the pandemic out of nowhere. So yeah, I finished university online, not the best, but it's something. And then I quote unquote graduated, and yeah, now I'm just working. So that's pretty much it.
Did you get your diploma already? Did they deliver it?
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Barely.
that's a bummer.
Yeah.
I know. You graduated in May and you get your diploma 2 months later.
Yeah, I don't know. They need to get this shit together. I don't know.
Yeah, facts. Luis, what have you been up to?
I graduated. Last time we recorded, I graduated from the same university we all went to. You guys were there. Pretty cool time. I then had a job waiting for me after graduation at Georgetown, working as a residence counselor. We did the same program, me and you, Renee. You did
We did.
UCLA. I did Georgetown.
Beautiful Westwood.
So we spent our summers pretty well. Even though we were separated, we were still pretty much chilling. And then I came back from home. That was an 8-week thing for me. Yours was 5 weeks?
Yeah, 8 weeks.
Yours was 8 weeks. Mine was 8 weeks as well. And then I came back. I wanted to continue working. I wasn't ready to go to grad school, but I also wasn't too keen on staying in Chicago. I wanted to keep exploring. So I was looking at jobs that would pay for me to live in the city or state that I would be working in, but that also would be a decent job to have on a resume. And I found the AmeriCorps program, which is a big program in the country. It does a lot of things, but its main focus is education, so being a teacher, a volunteer. And there was a program that was paying for housing and a working stipend for being a fellow. And they had 3 locations. I chose New York. It was open, it was available, and they gave it to me. So I lived in Bushwick in Brooklyn for about 7 months. So lived in an apartment with 2 other coworkers, and we would work at a school in lower side of Manhattan. Before Christmas break, I decided that it wasn't the right place to be at. I wanted to go try something else, so I resigned, came back home for the holidays, was looking for jobs, found one, which is the one I'm currently working at, which is a nonprofit org called Big Shoulders, and I've been working now here since January, so about 7 months. And it's pretty cool. I get to continue working with kids, working with families, helping them out, this and that. But the whole thing is grad school, not wanting to do that yet. I don't know. And then this pandemic kind of ruined plans for all of us. Angie didn't have her graduation in person. I stopped working from the office.
I didn't get to go
So
to
that-
LA.
You didn't get to go to LA. I didn't get to go to Georgetown again. So it's a interesting time. The other day I was talking to a friend and I was saying that this is probably the first like serious crisis that we've been a part of
Mm-hmm.
since like the economic crisis.
Yeah.
But we were pretty much young for that. We really didn't know
Young and blue.
exactly what was going on.
Blissfully
Yeah.
ignorant.
We're fourth
And
graders.
now we do.
So blissfully ignorant.
Even 9/11. I mean, I was 4. I had no idea what was
Me
going
and
on.
Angie were like 2, 3.
You guys were like 2 or 3, yeah.
Not
So,
even, Louis. You're like 2 months older than me.
For real?
Oh yeah,
Well, I was
that's right.
I was like 3.
So
It was just me then.
I was 4.
Yeah. So you were.
Actually, no, I was
Angie,
3. It was 2 days before my birthday,
Okay,
September
technical-
13th.
All right, technical. Go. You want to give out any more information? Go give out your social security number
Please.
while you're at it.
Okay,
your
you
address.
wanna know?
But yeah, we've all been a part of this whole thing. We're trying to figure out what to do next. I know Renee, you got back to your job. You were off of it for a while. Now you're back.
Yep.
Angie, you just got into
Nuevo
a job,
trabajo.
and I'm still working where I am at. So we're blessed to be in the positions we're at, but we know that there's a lot of people that aren't as fortunate as we.
Yeah, that's very true. So let's shift gears a little bit then and talk a little bit more about this like quarantine, you know? Because I mean, it's clearly such a big issue that's affecting not just us here, like talking about it, but just everybody in general, you know, the world. Maybe if we share a little bit, you know, what we've done to get through it so far, what we feel comes next, you know. Luis, you want to kick us off with that? You already kind of going with that little spiel.
I don't know. I at first I felt like it was gonna be something that we needed to go through just as people. It was gonna be an interesting time. I felt like we were not gonna go through this for too long. And then I was one of the people that got COVID. Me and my family did. We had it for a couple weeks, and then it was a pain. It was terrible, but luckily it didn't affect us too great, and we were able to get through it. But now it's just infuriating to see people thinking that it's gone or it's not a big deal and not wearing their masks when all they had to do was wear a mask, stay in quarantine, and we'd probably be out of this mess much sooner than we are.
Right. Like, it's not even that people are going out, you know? Like, I mean, because I think it's been pretty well established, like, you can't completely just shut people in, you know? You can't let everybody have a free-for-all, but you can't shut them in. And it's like, if you do go out, just take that extra precaution, you know? Like, I don't know why people don't get that wearing a mask is for your safety. It's not like, I hear this argument, well, I'm not going to wear a mask because the other people are wearing a mask. I was born here, but I come from a Latino culture, and my mom's like, si su mamá y yo se lo chinga, ¿qué es que yo te chinga a ti? You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're not wearing a mask, you don't gotta wear a mask for them. Wear it for yourself, baby girl, baby boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Angie, what do you gotta say about that? You got any thoughts on that?
Yes, I completely agree. And the thing is, for me, that I'm always hearing is that, I'm not wearing a mask because, you know, it's taking away my freedom y que no sé qué. And, well, exactly. If you want to be free and do whatever you want, you have to be healthy first. How are you going to get sick and not wear a mask?
Right.
Do you want to go out and have fun if you're not doing the littlest thing? It's like wearing underwear or something. You have to wear it.
Anybody who knows how to have fun knows that you have to be responsible. You know, like, if you want to have fun, there's like, you got to balance it because too much fun is not good, you know? So it's like,
Well, I mean, it's like how we talked about the other day, us three, when last time we hung out, how wearing a piece of cloth on your face between your nose, your eyes and your chin has now become like a political thing.
right, that's the other aspect
Yes.
of it.
Yeah.
That's
When it's essentially not even supposed to be that. It's essentially just safety. It's for your own good.
mhm.
Wear the mask. It's not, you're a left wing or you're a right wing supporter or you believe in this person or you don't believe in this person. Like, no, it's just, it shouldn't be that. Why is that a necessary thing to do?
And I mean, part of the problem here too is our lovely president,
Daddy Trump.
Donald Trumpy.
Don't
Yeah.
say that.
I mean, he is kind of our sugar daddy, you know, with them stimulus checks. He bankrolled America, like.
Well, not just America. He's been bankrolling since the first day. Him and his family and friends.
Yeah.
But now he's finally sharing the wealth with us.
Mm-hmm. He's our sugar daddy, Angie.
No, I'm good. I didn't get the stimulus check, so he ain't no sugar daddy.
It's because you didn't recognize him as your sugar daddy. If you recognized him as your sugar daddy, then you would have gotten the money.
You have to send him you have to leave him a voicemail and say that you are 100% his and no one else's.
No, I'll pass. Thanks though.
All right, but off the topic of Daddy Trump and back into the conversation of this whole mask thing. Yeah, I feel like the fact that Trump up until like last week refused to wear a mask was really and I feel like it is a part of the surges that have taken place in the past couple of weeks, because it's just like people don't care, like they just don't.
That, and the thing is too, like when this whole thing started, like what, back in February, when it was about to hit the U.S., he thought, oh, we only have like 2 cases where it's all under control. He was too confident that not a lot of people were gonna get it here, which is pretty stupid. But he took his time with taking part of planning and all this and that.
Luckily for us, we live in probably one of the best states that has taken care of COVID as of now. We have our governor Pritzker and then our mayor Lori have been really well taking care of how to deal with COVID, how to punish people for not listening to their rules and stuff, their laws and policies for COVID and quarantine. So we've been blessed with having someone like that at the helm, as opposed to our great president.
So Angie, we've been talking about this pandemic. What have you learned? Like, what do you think? What's gonna happen? How do you feel? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
Like what I learned during quarantine? Mm-hmm.
During quarantine, the pandemic going forward, what are you learning now? I mean, you just started a new job not too long
ago. A month ago, actually. Yeah. So let's see, during quarantine, so I tried picking up new hobbies, and the thing for me is that I'm good with routines, and I have to have a steady routine throughout my day. So even though during quarantine I was still in school, I will still get up, not that early, but early. I would have breakfast, plan out my day, and then from there I would go to my quote-unquote online class, and then I would do homework, and then I would just plan the rest of my day with my homework, because most people, I noticed, even my own sisters, they would do their homework at night, and I can't do that because I get sleepy, and then I just find it less motivating at night. For me, I'd rather just sleep and rest and hang out and be on my phone. So yeah, I learned that I definitely do have to, whatever I work on, it has to be out. It has to be during the day. And then just learning more about like different girly hobbies that you guys are not going to find interesting. So I'm not going to speak much on that. So just like planning and like more on makeup skills and stuff like that, meditating, exercising, stuff like that, self-care.
Are you assuming that I don't like makeup, meditating, and planning? Is that what I just heard?
No. I mean, I'm just saying you might find it boring. That's all I'm saying.
Angie, everything you talk about, I find boring, but I still listen to you because I'm a great friend.
Wow. Well, you see? Well, anywho, it's more about self-care and stuff. Also, during quarantine, I learned, I don't know, that, you have to put yourself first. And even like right now, like for many people right now, they feel less anxious when they go out because they feel anxious being stuck at home the whole day. For me, actually, it's the opposite. I feel more anxious when I'm out because I don't know, it's just me, and like I guess also because of influence of my parents, but I just feel like when I do go out, or even if it's for like an air or something, I consciously feel guilty, like I should be at home, or what if I go out and I get sick and then I'm gonna get my family infected and it's gonna be my fault. It's just like little stuff like that. I just feel more anxious when I'm out instead of being home. I feel more relaxed when I'm home. So that's what I've learned. And then with the pandemic going on forward, I just realized like a few days ago, like just like looking through pictures and stuff like that, like how easily I took for granted just like making plans with people and just going out and just doing like the littlest things. And now it's like, yeah, you could get sick and just like all these rules and stuff that you have to follow.
The weirdest part the other day when you posted a memory about something you did a while back is how today's the last day of July. We're about to start August as of tomorrow. And usually August in Chicago is like, you really don't know what's coming. You either get a good still end of summer kind of vibe, or you get early cold or early fall, or it's a rainy month. Like it's such a random month usually that this may be the last couple of days of great weather.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because this whole summer there was maybe maybe a 2-week period where people are allowed to go do stuff. Things were open. Things were kind of normal here. And now, based on numbers, based on the states around us, we're probably going to be back in quarantine just for safety precautions, even though
Mhm.
our numbers are also going up. It feels like we're going to be stuck again inside for the rest of the year.
I definitely agree. Honestly, and I was just telling this to my parents and to my sisters and my boyfriend, I actually kind of hope that we do go back to quarantine. Just because, again, it's like group projects. Like that one meme I saw, I don't know where I saw it, but this whole quarantine and going out and stuff, it's like a group project. Even if you try, you're doing the best and you're doing the work and you're following the rules, there's other people that are not going to be ruining it for everybody. So I don't know, I just feel more calm like if everybody else is inside and we're trying to do the best that we could just to bring the numbers down. But I don't know, that's just me. I know that kind of sounds selfish, but there's a lot of people that are not following rules. They're being selfish. They just want to have fun in the summer. And yes, I get that, but you also have to be responsible. It comes with responsibility. You just can't do whatever you want.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I think it's just like people just need to put a little more. I think people just need to put more thought. That's what it boils down to. Because it's like you can go out, you can have fun. Like we go out, we have fun, but we try to keep things like small and simple. You know, we hang out, we don't do too much. We follow the rules.
Mhm.
You know, that's what I'm saying. We kind of balance the responsibility with the fun, and we just try to keep it in a way that everyone can be safe. And I probably sound like a dad. And like just everybody be safe, but have fun and like just be cool
Yeah.
about it. You know, like that's what I tell my kids. when
I
they
also
listen to
think
me.
it's different. I know you were saying about being selfish, but at this point, there's a big
You have to be
difference
selfish.
between someone saying they're being selfish and someone saying that they're being smart. And I think you're in the smart side, and I think the whole selfish thing is being thrown out of proportion because you're not being selfish. You're just following the rules. You're following things that professionals who know about all this stuff and who are leading the charge are telling you to do. You're just obeying. You're just taking care of yourself, your family, and everyone around you.
Exactly. And the thing is too, like the fact that people think that this was planned, like that just like blows my mind. Like who would want like millions of people to die? Obviously maybe like evil people and people in much higher power, but I don't know, there's just so many
Jeff Bezos.
crazy things with these conspiracy theories. I just can't think of why it would be planned. Yeah.
How about you, Renee?
And
What have you learned about yourself or about anything during this quarantine?
well, during quarantine, I feel like I have learned a good amount. You know, it's just I've learned to just really be when you're on the street. You know, I mean, like I said, you gotta dodge the virus. Like you dodge the virus the same way you know how to if you know how to move around the city, you know to dodge the bad neighborhoods.
Mhm.
You know, because then like you dodge the bad neighborhoods, and then for the most part you're good. Same way with the virus, you dodge those hotspots. You know, all right, well, I'm not gonna go to the club. I'm not gonna go to a bar, but maybe I'll go somewhere outside. You know, the beach. You know, you gotta be smart. You gotta stay vigilant, and you can't have a one size fits all approach to every situation because every situation is different. You kind of have to have like a a loose structure for yourself of how you want to do things, and but at the same time you want to leave a little room for improvisation. Because yeah, let's say you go somewhere that you weren't expecting it to be a hotspot, but again, selfish people that don't want to wear a mask and think I get to do whatever I want, they turn that spot into a hotspot. Well, then you need to be able to recognize that and get up out of there. Be like, okay, I was wrong. I didn't think this through. You know what I'm saying? Luis, what do you think?
I don't know. I think I mentioned this the other day to one of you, but I was saying how if we ever got into a bigger crisis that was even worse than this one, it just shows that it shows us that we're not prepared to handle anything.
I mean, the only crisis I can think of bigger than this is like an asteroid. Because, I mean, to me, this is pretty big. Like, never in my life, never in a lot of people's life had they seen anything like that shutdown. Some people called it like the Great Reset. Because in some ways, it was kind of that. Like, I feel like we're going to look back on this and this is going to be history. This is going to be very historic. We're just going to be like, there's a lot of things we haven't caught on yet about this virus. We're going to look back and we're going to be like, damn, we made it through that, guys. Hopefully, God willing.
So talking about looking back, I wanted to get into just how surreal it is to record again and how much time has passed since the last time we recorded. I know we touched upon it briefly early on, but how much time has passed and how different we are a year ago from today since we last were on a podcast together. Like I said, I was graduating. You guys were about to start your senior year, and now all two of us have graduated. One of us graduates this upcoming semester,
On the
and
way. There's a baby
now
on the way.
we all have jobs, like actual jobs. And back then, the only jobs we had were school jobs, were student working jobs. And now
we're big boys and big girls.
Now we've gone through a couple jobs for some of us. Some of us just started, and then now we're at the. I think this is the first time that all three of us are working a job that's actually outside of school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
meaningful. Yeah, started from the bottom. We still
so like how do you feel recording now to how it was a year ago?
I mean, part of me feels like we could be in that same room, you know, just talking, chopping it up. But yeah, at the same time, it's like that's not the case because we've grown and evolved a lot, you know. And I think it shows like it's been a year, and yeah, a lot has happened and things have moved on a lot. We've grown a lot and we feel like a lot has changed, but at the same time, it's still the three of us. We're still here, and in some ways, it feels like we have something pretty good established, you know, and it's gone good, and let's hope it keeps going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Luis, any thoughts on that? Angie?
I'm just happy to be back. This was during the recordings we had with our old friend Jesus, and then the ones Angie was a part of. It was just always a blast to just talk. It was just like conversations that were kind of structured, but usually we would go we would go on tangents, and it would just be a nice free flowing usual conversation that we would have, just instead this time with microphones and other people being able to listen to us. Mm-hmm. Angie?
You guys pretty said it all, but going off of what you guys said, it's just crazy to me how, like a year ago we were just in a different place, in a different mindset, and just in a different everything, and now we're actually obviously we're still the same people, but it's just that we have more responsibilities and we've learned a lot and we have experienced more things and just stuff like that. So it's good and it's a fun thing to be back because, you know, it's a chill thing, and if you end up getting money for it, Luis, well, then that's even better. So it's a win-win, you know.
So now it is time for our usual and consistent segment on the show, which is our Reddit segment, where we go on Reddit, we pull out 3 posts, we answer them to our best ability, and we just have a great conversation about them. So our first post comes from the subreddit Ask Reddit from the user Unbent Johnson. His question was, what do you know is true without evidence? What are you certain of? Right down to your bones without any proof. So first answering this question will be our fellow Renee. Renee.
So what I know for a fact is true is that self-love is the best love. Like, that's the one thing I've learned for a fact. Like, I don't need to see anybody. I don't need anybody to tell me anything. Like, because self-love is just, it's a sort of self-confidence. Mm-hmm. You're not necessarily, some people can see it as like cocky, arrogant, you know? But it's just, you're just assuring yourself, like, you're just comfortable in your own body. And the only thing you really have control of in this world is like your skin and bones, you know? And that's why I'm convinced that, like, at the end of the day, like, self-love is the best love, with or without evidence.
Okay. Angie, what do you have belief in without any proof?
All right. Going off of that, what Renee said, I would say believing in God and having faith. So during your life, so I know a lot of people that are atheists and like, well, how do you know he's real? I know this and that. Well, you just have to have faith. I mean, same thing with like the weather. You don't see the wind or see the air, but you could feel it. You just have to have faith. And if you don't have faith in yourself or in God or in anything else, then you don't have anything. Just like with the self-love that Renee was just speaking about. You have to have those things.
I mean, to basically wrap it all up with what Angie said, if you believe in God, then you got to believe in yourself, you know? Because, like, God's in every one of us. Like, you can't claim to believe in God and then not believe in yourself. Like, it's a personal relationship, you know?
Interesting.
Luis?
My answer to this question is that I don't know if you guys have seen the Truman Show movie.
Yes.
With Jim Carrey.
That's a good movie.
Since I was a kid, I've always believed that we are in a type of environment like Truman was, where people are watching his every move from the day he was born to the day he eventually, well, the plan was to the eventually day he died, but obviously if you've seen the movie, spoilers, he leaves before that happens. So I've always believed since I was a young kid that someone else is watching me like that, in a sense. So every move I make, someone is watching. So when I was younger, not so much now, but when I was younger, I would do stupid shit because I was like, oh, someone's watching me, but I don't know that they're watching me. Like I can't see them, but they're watching me. So I would do some stupid shit thinking it was funny to other people. But as I've grown up, that was kind of an interesting time period of my life to really believe in that. So that's the first thing I thought of when I saw this post on Reddit, was that I once believed I was in a Truman scenario for a very long time.
And you don't
Not
believe
so
that?
much. I mean, it would be really cool to, like, let's say I pass away tomorrow and I wake up and it's like, oh yeah, now I'm part of the audience that watches everyone else. That would be a really cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'd be okay with that.
Who'd you be cheering for?
I don't know. Probably not someone I know.
That's-
I'd find someone. It would be cool to be.
Like you?
I would be cool to be assigned to like a group, a person I've never met before, and I'm just like watching their life.
If that actually happens, can you give your blessing from the sky to like you?
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
always.
Because they need
Like
it.
just say.
Let's be honest, Renee.
Oh wow.
Let's be honest.
I like
Let's
that
be
one.
honest. Yo también.
I like that one.
I
I'm not
go
even
for
gonna-
Chivas, but like, you know.
We're all Chivas fans here, but
Oh, I thought she was.
she was an
I thought she was
Americanista
Oh,
or
no.
something.
She-
No,
right. She just roasted the fuck
Look,
out of me. I was like,
we're all
damn,
Chivas
that was.
fans, and we're
I
all
was about to
confident.
cry because I was like, that
We're all
was some savage
confident that
ass shit.
that we're gonna be a good team this season. But let's all be true. Let's all be real. This is Cruz Azul's year. Come on now, they deserve it.
Facts.
This is the one thing that they deserve right now. Anyways, moving on to our
Especially with everything
moving on
canceled.
to our second Reddit post. This comes from the subreddit Uplifting News. The user Specs uploaded this article from MIT Technology Review, where a study was done on seismic levels, and basically humans are the third highest seismic level that is recorded. A study that was done, and in general. And during lockdown between March and May, it was recorded that was the quietest period of time in human history. And my question from this article is, was there a moment where during the heart of quarantine, you went outside for a necessary errand or chore, and you felt like you could hear a pin drop?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yes.
go ahead, elaborate, whichever one wants to go first.
I'll go first.
Well, go ahead.
So
Ladies first.
So for me, I remember one time I was going to go get food, and I was by like it's kind of like passing Summit, so it's like by 79th and Harlem.
Fue por los tacos de
Yeah,
chorizo.
something like that. I was with Aldo though. Let's be real. So it was a Saturday
So there was
evening.
definitely a big taco de chorizo there.
That's why I said I knew.
So it was a Saturday evening, and I remember we went to go get food, and then we were just driving, and it just looked like a ghost town. I remember here by like my neighborhood, like 5-10 minutes down from my house, we were on like 65th Street, and it was just like so dead, and it looked like the cars like in 5 a.m. Like there was some cars, but there wasn't many, and it just looked like a ghost town, like in one of those movies where like the world's about to end. And yeah, that just kind of hit me that moment.
Yeah.
Renee?
Yeah, I mean, similar moment. The main intersection in my small little island where I live, that the main intersection is like the only intersection, like the busiest intersection. Going there like 10 p.m. normally, you can expect some traffic, some people. I mean, but like the lights were shut out, like businesses were shut down. I think there was like a part where even the street lights were out, because like, you know, that's just my little hood. I think even the street lights were out, so it was like businesses out, street lights out, and you're just out, and it's like, damn, this looks like apocalypse shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like someone, I felt like I was a zombie. You know what I'm saying? Like, whew, that was kind of like, it throws you off. It gives you like, it gave me chills because it's not something before that point in time you would have ever expected to see, you know, or like even thought about it. But then you see it, and then it's like, and now it kind of become a little normal, because now even places that as we've reopened, like things even still aren't back to normal, you know. And even some like downtown, if you go downtown around, like there's nowhere near half as much traffic as there normally is. Luis, any stories from you?
The first one that comes to mind is the first time I went to a grocery store. This was after I had recovered from COVID, and I was able to. I had a 2-week quarantine where I had no symptoms, and I was able to go out and not be a danger to anyone. It was really quiet. It was just like people staring at each other. It was just a surreal time, and I I hope not to experience something like that, but never say never, I guess. But it was really interesting to like be around several people but not speak a word or hear chatter that you usually hear when you're going to your local grocery store. So to end off our Reddit segment, we have a random post that says, what are your plans moving forward for this podcast? So we'll start off with our beautiful third co-host, Angie. We're letting her take this question first. What do you imagine this podcast to be in the future as we move forward and continue to now consistently record?
Well, I hope it becomes successful and that you guys include me in it and not kick me out, lol. And yeah, just keep on working hard and, reach a higher and bigger audience.
Renee, do you remember what our highest view on any of the ones we uploaded on YouTube? Well, do you, off the top of your head, how many views?
I believe it was like 50 or 60.
Was it really?
If I'm not mistaken.
Is to overcome
I think
that
so.
number.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and then I think on the highest was like 50, but on average we were like 25.
Okay,
That's
so
not too bad.
That sounds about right.
All right, Renee?
So going forward with this podcast, I want us to really sort of establish what the podcast is going to be, because I feel like I want us to be good at this. I want us to just do this podcast because we want to have fun, but I also like to be good at things, like I also feel like we got to keep an upward projection. So I just want to see us really kind of like nail it down and figure out what we want to do, and then just do that so we can just practice and get better and just do it, and just kind of, just like grow it. But we have to kind of like firmly get into get a little routine, kind of like that little document we saw today, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'd like to see that more of that going forward. So, Luis, what do you think we should do moving forward?
Just being consistent. We've always had an issue with being consistent. We've had trouble recording this episode for a while now, and nothing's going to be perfect. We're going to have mistakes editing. We're going to have mistakes in anything we say. We're going to have mistakes in how we get this out there for people to listen to. But we just have to be patient. Like you said, we have to get better. And like Angie said, hopefully this becomes a thing that somehow grows and becomes a staple has an audience of at least that we used to have before.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is, and that's what I'm saying. We just have to say, this is what the podcast is going to be, and then leave it open for interpretation, and yeah, there's going to be like mistakes, but that's what we're going to learn from, so that we can, pick this up and maybe like turn this into something a little more consistent, something we can do a little more regularly,
So that ends our Reddit segment. And now, before we go, we will like to end off on a positive story that will come this time from Renee. Renee, share the positive story for today's podcast.
So the positive story for today's podcast is the story of this fitness model called Ruba Ali.
Okay.
She comes from a very difficult background. And she was one of those girls that she had to start working when she was in high school. She was a young breadwinner. She went through a whole lot. And right now, if you look up her Instagram at Real RUBAALI, you'll see that she's really done something herself, and she's a beautiful young woman. And I think she's an example of perseverance pays off.
So thank you for that positive story, Renee. It's a great way to end off on this first episode. I'd like to first thank Renee for being the co-host that he is. Thank you, Renee.
Thank you, Luis, for having me on the show.
And to thank our second co-host, Angie. Thank you for being on the episode.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, thank you for having us. Thank you for giving us a listen, and we'll see you on the next one.